Hi, church. Hey, in this episode, we're going to be talking about how wisdom is supreme. And we're going to talk about the book of Proverbs and how Solomon was instructing his sons. And he lays out lots of things about wisdom. Years ago, the boys and I went through a lot of the book of Proverbs, and it was a great time for talking about how dads can instruct their kids, in particular their sons, and share their thoughts together. And I brought Davey along today, so wave Davey to kind of share some scripture with you together. And first I'm going to be reading from the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, and it says this: "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. My son, accept my words and store up commands within you. Turn your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. For wisdom will enter your heart and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul." I like that. "My son, do not forget my teachings and keep my commands in your heart." So Davey's going to share a couple verses with you right now.
"Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight." Yeah,
that's an excellent one to memorize. "Blessed is the man who finds wisdom, so is the man that gains understanding. Preserve sound judgment and discernment." Solomon, as we all know, was given a great amount of wisdom, kind of fast forwarding his life on maybe some things he didn't have to go through, right? He explains that wisdom is supreme. It means everything, and it really does to us as believers. And really the basis of our decision making and the past failures that we've had and the past successes, and kind of mold those together. And it's so important for us to navigate in our Christian lives and make appropriate decisions and give sound advice. It's interesting how Solomon, in the book of Proverbs, lays out wisdom's calling, and he uses a feminine approach. He uses the pronoun she as a definition for wisdom. Isn't that interesting? Oftentimes the downfall for men is accepting she as folly instead of she as wisdom. Solomon warns young men, and all men in particular, but particularly young men, to use prudence, because there are so many temptations that could bring about the downfall in a young man's life, and it'll lead them astray. And he lists a whole bunch of them and talks about them early in the book. He says wealth can bring you down, along with alcohol and women, food and power, lying, being violent, being lazy. Just so many traps that the enemy will like to trip up men in particular with. And it really flies in the face of wisdom. Interestingly enough, the author was not immune to these things either. As we know, King Solomon, that was his ultimate downfall, was some of these things he even listed and talked about. So folks, Proverbs is a great place to find this great calling of wisdom, and I encourage you to read it. A lot of people use one Proverbs per day, and it fulfills the month, and then they recycle it again for the next month, as there's 31 Proverbs. But anyways, I appreciate it, church. Thanks for listening again, and we'll see you again real soon.